Hey guys, and welcome to the Stanley Parable. This is a game I've been meaning to play for a while, so let's just get right into it.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Guess I'm stepping out of the office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
This guy has a who farted mug. I hate Mondays. Me too. Tomorrow's Monday, but I have off.
When Stanley came to
Oh,
a
no.
set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nah, I entered the door on my right, dude.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes. Yes, I did. 4B9.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Nope.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I want to go to the most open door in front of me.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh god. This doesn't seem good. I probably should have followed directions.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley.
There's a girl
Your
involved.
chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
This is a very dark door. And that makes me uncomfortable. Geronimo! Oh god.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her.
This is horrifying.
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the...
I picked up the phone. What?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
I'm not gonna press I. I'm gonna press F. No, N? K? I guess I'll press I.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
But there's no TV in here. Oh, there's the TV. Okay. Oh.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
What?
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm not doing it.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley
What?
pushed a button. And I
I don't wanna
tried
die.
again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Did I... I don't know what happened. I think I lost. Oh. I did lost. Okay, let's try again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
This mug
Stanley
wasn't here
decided
last
to go to
time.
the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I can't read.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, I'm going to listen. Woohoo. Listening. Conference room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Profits. Oh. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and throw some bevel on all the text. This will ensure a calm and productive work environment. Everyone is unique. You most of all. I think that one's me. Money, more money, things, but with money to buy more things. Number of slides on the slide. Slides, charts, and slides. Wacky. I want to go in the broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
There's something here. There's all kinds of somethings. There's a wrench, there's a bigger wrench, there's duct tape.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow.
Fine.
Just an empty broom
Stop
closet.
yelling at me.
No reason to still be here. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Fine. Is this the boss? Oh, it's the executive bathroom. I guess he could have been in there. Going to open this door. Nope, guess not. Nice office.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
This is very Portal-esque. This is telling me to go down. Is there any other options? Down is frightening. Okay. Okay. Loading. I think we're loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
There is an escape option as well, though. Do I want escape or do I want mind control? This one looks more enticing, I'll be honest. Looks much more well lit. Button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Is escape still an option? Because I think I made the wrong choice. When I click, there's a typing noise. Click, 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 click. That's weird. When I type, is there a clicking noise? No. Sad. Another button. The camera's button.
Now the monitors jumped to
Oh,
life,
God.
their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
This is actually really hurting my eyes. But that's okay. Where's me? I'm 427. There's me. Yeah. The people button. People.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Why was 104 fired? This seems grossly unfair.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Probably.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
There's a 4 button. What other sort of buttons are around? This looks safe. Okay, everything worked out fine. Okay, this way. And there's the 5 button. There are many buttons.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Okay.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Yeah, he did.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, I beat the game. Yeah, I feel like there's so much I don't know, and so many different paths I've not taken. So, I think this will be the end of part 1. But I'm definitely going to come back to this game and do more things and try the other paths, because this is exciting and I don't know what's going on. So, we'll see what happens next time. See you later. Bye.